Quality journalism, to me, has to first address, I think, the crisis of journalism, which is about news losing its cultural relevance after 150 years almost after its emergence in late 19th century, because it had the monopoly as a source of drama, nowness, a sense of presence, and also a global connection. These three aspects have changed in the past few decades, and now there are many other sources of these things. There's traveling, there's social media, there are all kinds of stuff that news has to compete to fulfill these sort of needs that or functions that it used to have, these three things. And I think the quality journalism is a kind of journalism that understands this shift and this necessity, and I call it post-news journalism, which means we have to rethink journalism around something else other than news, or we have to rethink what news used to be, as I would suggest, as a factual narrative that is in many cases a very affective factual narrative. So it has a dramatic structure. So we have examples of successful podcasts are structured that way. They're all like documentary radio, documentary television. So documentary is one of the most important form, which is still sells and which is still making money. And there are some other forms like graphic novels are a combination of visual arts and factual narratives. But you can even think about music and factual narratives, which hasn't been explored that much, or theatre and factual narratives. There are some examples of documentary theatre, but they're still not really contemporary. Yeah, actually, this is really exciting, both for artists, because they're also struggling financially, and also journalists. So collaborations among them would be really amazing, and they could actually live now based on these collaborations, because I think any sort of initiative that, I mean, let's look at the safe ones like documentaries. So there's so many pieces of journalism that could turn into amazing documentaries that could be sold to platforms, video platforms. Me particularly, I'm really keen on the idea of performative journalism, where you actually show or tell your stories in person to your audience who is also in person, but it can also be scaled using recorded versions, or now even generative AI, so somebody can take your transcript and use your voice on it as if you're actually telling them for the first time, but it's not really you. The industry has to be rethought and get, accept that the problem with the news, the crisis with the news and journalism is not about business models, it's not about ethics, and it's not about professional quality. It's a sociological problem that I explained with those monopolies that are lost, the three monopolies that are lost. And if they accept this, then a whole horizon of possibilities will emerge.